Welcome on in, welcome on in, come on in the room. I say, yeah, come on in the room. What's up, beautiful people? Come on in the room, come on in the room, come on in the room. Welcome, 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 sexy, sexy, sexy people. Welcome to another episode of Nights with NICCI. Hi, TikTok. How you doing? Hi, I see you, Norlene. I see you, Ola Ray. I see you, Sheila. I see you, Mary. I see you, Jay. I see y'all. I see y'all come on in here. I see you, Tiny Hands. I see you, Shirley Bolware. I see you, Songbird. I see all the beautiful people coming into the space. I see you. I see you. As you come into WRF.TV YouTube channel, please do your girl a kind favor and hit the like button. You guys, I am looking a little early. That's early. And I don't know why. I think my skin is just really hydrated and moisturized. Y'all know I've been on this watermelon thing with watermelon juice and, all of the coconut water. And I am feeling very, very hydrated. But at the same time that I'm feeling hydrated, I'm also looking a little greasy. But it's okay. I'd rather look a little moisturized, a little extra moisturized than dry. Hello. Holla at your girl. TikTok, thank you guys. Hi, Alicia Walker. I see you. Thank you guys for welcoming me into the TikTok space. X, thank you for welcoming me into your space. Facebook, thank you for welcoming me into your space. Instagram, thank you for welcoming me into your space. Who we LinkedIn tonight. We got our LinkedIn audience tonight. I don't think we had LinkedIn last night. Thank you for welcoming me into your space and WIRF.TV YouTube. Thank you for welcoming me into your space. First off, can you guys give me some hearts if you can hear me okay? Sometimes occasionally things get a little wonky with the sound. So I just want to make sure you guys are able to hear me okay on this here evening. I see y'all. What's up, True Jacob? Hi. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me okay? You guys, please give me some hearts if you can hear me and tell me that you can hear me. If y'all can hear me okay. Yeah, we're good over here on TikTok. How we looking on the other platforms? Love and Nice with NICCI. Someone says they can't hear me. Can someone tell me, can you hear me? Do y'all hear me? Let me text my producer and tell him to tune in because usually he would let me know. Hi, I know y'all can hear me. Yes, it's Nikki from Brownstone. Thank you for the badges. Thank you guys for the badges on TikTok. I really appreciate y'all. God bless you all and thank you so much. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you. I can hear you on YouTube, but not IG. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. IG, guys, cannot hear on IG. I don't know why. Let me see if I can fix this problem while we're in the stream. And if I can't, then I'm going to end the IG live. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to end the IG live. Sorry, guys. That sucks. Sorry. I had to wrap up the IG live, but I still got my TikTok people. I still got my IG people. Yes, continue without. I hate that. And I got my X people and my LinkedIn people and my Facebook people. Y'all, I hope y'all are having a good night. Okay, Tracy, thank you so much. You can hear me. Hi, Victoria. I can hear you on YouTube, but not IG. Okay, I'm so sorry, IG. And come on over. Hopefully you guys came over and joined me from the IG page because that's not working anymore. Yeah, I don't really have any topics for tonight. Honestly, I have had a really busy day. And by busy day, I mean I've been promising my grandson that I will take him to the basketball court. So I've taken my grandson to the basketball court. I had some business stuff that I had to take care of, finishing up some, stuff I'm really excited about. You guys, if you have submitted audition tape or a referral for Curtains, which is the dramatic pilot that we are producing, please rest assured we have not gone through all of our submissions. So I will make an announcement when the submissions are done, because people have been asking me, because people are excited about it, which is really good news. I really appreciate that. Please make sure you share this live, you guys. Please make sure y'all share the live. We're going to have a great conversation. We always have great conversations on Nights with Nikki, and I'm super grateful for you guys. As I say, every time I come on this here app, super grateful to y'all for coming on and joining me and whatnot. So there's a ton of stuff going on out here on the internet. Lots and lots of things. Some of the things I'm going to skate by for now, because some of them are just team too much for my bandwidth. Tonight, I will probably get into them on our Wednesday night show. We got a lot of celebrities, a lot of politicians, a lot of people out here being accused of very egregious behavior and doing things that, many of them should be praying that they don't, lose their fan bases and their voters and all this other stuff. Because these days you just don't know what's real and what is not. I will say this, though. I'm going to do a little bit more research on the Tyler Perry situation, because, I always feel like, because I'm such an advocate for women and girls, and not just women and girls, I'm an advocate for SA victims, period, right? I do feel like it is my responsibility, as someone who just talks about it all the time and advocates for victims all the time, to address this Tyler Perry thing. But because I know Tyler, I've worked with Tyler, I want to just make sure that I'm just not out here, throwing gasoline on a fire. However, I'm going to say this, and we're going to talk about this and get into this a little bit more tomorrow. Sometimes where there is smoke, there is fire. And the other part is what I know from my own experience working on Broken Things, which is the documentary that will be coming in October. Sara Stokes, unfortunately, had a really rough, turbulent childhood that involved a lot of SA by her own biological father and other people as well. And the reason I'm such a diehard advocate for it is because my mother was also the victim of childhood SA. And a lot of people that I know as well. And the trauma that people endure throughout their whole lives as a result of it is really terrible. And, when people are willing or open to share their stories, we have to take them seriously. Now, I'm not saying every story that people come up with, because, sometimes people do use things like that as a weapon, and it's sick and it's twisted and it's terrible. But there are sick, twisted people in this world who, who will use something like that because of how terrible it is and how egregious it is. People will use stuff like that to get attention. They will use it. And I really hate to say it this way. It's really terrible, but it's factual that some people leverage the sympathy of others. But the vast majority, I said some, a small minority, but the vast majority of people who speak up about stuff like this are indeed telling the truth, right? And because we pride ourselves on being objective and just trying to see and hear all sides of things, it's important that we say that. So in this Tyler Perry situation, I have not watched the video. What does concern me, though, is that I believe it is ABC News, I believe, who is sitting down with this accuser and this Derek Dixon. And what I know from experience with Sarah's story, for example, Sarah and several other non-white victims spoke up. Sarah's been speaking up since she was about 14. Well, as soon as she knew what was happening to her between her mother's boyfriend and then her father. And I'm sorry, I keep calling her Sara Stokes, but her name now is Sarah Rivers. So I definitely want to respect her and her husband and, her new marriage or whatever. But she spoke up several times and they did not listen. In fact, they called her crazy. They put her in a home. And I'll never forget, she tells the story of the song Hero, one of her friends who was also almost a victim that Sara ended up saving from becoming a victim. That story is crazy, you guys. You have to see the documentary Broken Things, which it's been a long time coming. But with everything that's going on now, with the new Epstein victims, with what happened with Diddy, with what, a lot of celebrities are being accused of, I think that, God's timing is always right. And I think that this is the time for this Broken Things documentary to be shared with the people. But anyway, she talked about how she tried to tell people over and over again and nobody listened. And then we did the series From the Bottom Up, which not a lot of people saw. However, one little girl in particular, one young lady, I'm sorry, because when the young girl across the street who lived across the street from Sara's father saw From the Bottom Up, which is the show that Sara was on, that we produced with Flavor Unit and Latifah through BET. When she saw the series and she saw Sara confessing that, a family member touched her inappropriately and is a big part of the reason why Sara has had struggles with alcoholism, a big part of the reason why Sara has had some problems in her marriage. It's a really riveting story, you guys. I can't wait until you have an opportunity to see it, because I do believe that it'll save lives. And in this instance, it did save the life of the young girl who had been being actually, put an S in front of it, abused by Sara Stokes' father since she was 13 years old. And again, the girl got the idea to share her story based on seeing the Broken Things. I'm sorry, not the Broken Things, the From the Bottom Up series, where Sara was on the series and talked about what happened with her father. And she went across the street and she talked to Sara's stepmom, and Sara's stepmother was, she told a lie at first. And then one thing led to another. I don't want to give the whole story away because you guys have to see it in the documentary. But one thing led to another, and we discovered that, the feds discovered that Sara Stokes' father had been essaying young girls. But it was I have to say, it was the young girl with the beautiful blonde hair and the beautiful blue eyes that made people stop and really pay attention, because several other girls that did not look that way had said, hey, this has been happening to me. And for Sara to say that about her own father and be forced to go back into the household and ignored by the city of Port Huron was just a sin and a shame. In fact, what we did find out, thank you guys so much for all of the gifts and the likes and sharing the video. I really appreciate you guys over on TikTok, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, and WRF.TV YouTube. But please hit like as you come in as well. Thank you very much. But yeah, the people did not believe Sara. They did not believe Sara at all. And unfortunately, as a result, Sara was, matter of fact, let me find out if I can play the trailer for Broken Things, you guys. Hold on one second. Please, in the meantime, hit the like button for your girl. I would really, really appreciate it. Let me try to find this trailer. Do I have the Broken Things? That's the first 15 minutes. Those are outtakes. Broken Things trailer. I do have the Broken Things trailer. All right, guys, hold on here. All righty. All right, I'm about to drop in this Broken Things trailer. TikTok, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you guys won't be able to see the Broken Things trailer. However, you will be able to hear it. Okay. All right, take a look at this trailer, you guys, and then we're going to get a little bit more into our conversations on this here day.
Men and children had their lives cut short because of domestic violence.
This kind of violence is prevalent in our society.
Unfortunately, many people have experienced or even watched their loved ones go through
adolescent relationship abuse. No boundaries.
We're talking about domestic violence.
I just don't want it to be about no damn domestic violence. I'm a fucking singer!
My mother's boyfriend beat her so badly one time that I had to go see her at the hospital. That really did something to me. Not only did he ruin my mother's life, but he helped ruin mine.
Like, how could you even look at yourself in the mirror? How could you even want to be alive after you touch your own child? And then Tony's mad.
Well, it's kind of hard when she's in jail, Tony.
Stop judging me. I'm tired of y'all judging me. I don't be wanting to mess my kid's life up.
No, you can't. You don't want all this to happen with Dad getting all angry and stuff.
This ain't just now all of a sudden we fight back and forth.
Dad doesn't just do that just to do that.
He shouldn't do it at all. My daughters need to see a strong mother. And I am strong. I am strong. I just called her because I said I need her. I was like, Mom, please come get me.
We're there for you no matter what situation in your life. I love you no matter what.
She ain't going with you either. Pedophile, child molesting ass bitch.
Tony, nigga, this bullshit.
This is like my co-law.
Once again, everybody goes off on me.
Living with someone that molested our mom.
Sarah's daddy is a fucking animal. That motherfucker's a abomination. Do something dumb so I can get locked the fuck up and do something to him.
From being molested multiple
They
times.
have some kind of a past. That past do not dictate their future.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of broken things.
All right, guys, I was trying to show my family over on TikTok through the phone, but that didn't work out very much. But for those of you who had an opportunity to check it out, first of all, can we just please give our sister Sara Stokes a round of applause for being brave enough and fearless enough, and her family wanting to get this story out and wanting to share her harrowing journey through, child actual violence as well as domestic violence. And a lot of times what's really interesting, guys, is that, and this is interesting because when the whole Cassie thing came out, right? When the Cassie thing came out, I was just like, oh, wow, this reminds me a lot of the Sara Stokes thing, because it was both SA and domestic violence, which, a lot of times go hand in hand. I was supposed to use another word to describe that. I'm sorry. But again, when you have people who have come out and shared their story, and then people who doubt it, or people who don't understand how difficult it is to share something so personal and traumatic, and then you start to victim shame, and you start to tell people that they're just chasing clout, or you tell people that their stories don't matter or it's fake. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. And I think that's a part of the reason why we have so many people who, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I see the applause and the positive response from Broken Things. TikTok, I'm sorry. I tried to, hi, Nikki. Hi, Larry. Hi, all of you who are just joining us. I tried to show you through my device, my phone. That was whack. Please do me a favor if you have a chance. Matter of fact, I'll post it on TikTok after the live. That's what I'll do. So you guys will have a chance to see that. And tonight I am definitely going to share my open letter which is a diary entry, actually, that I talked about last night about the betrayal of Black women. Because again, I don't want the world to feel like I'm judging Kelly Price, or I'm judging anybody who says that they're tired of people who look like them treating them like sugar honey iced tea. I understand, like I said in the beginning, I completely understand where our dear sister Kelly Price is coming from when she says, the trolls that are people who look like us is a lot to deal with. Because trust me, I feel the same way. And I think, us not showing up for each other is definitely a conversation. It's always 11:11, you guys. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to speak with people. Thank you for this opportunity to share stories and information. Lord God, please let my experiences that I share on this platform touch somebody, inspire somebody, Lord God. Thank you for the blessings that you have given me in my life, even though there have been challenges with things in our family, Lord God, even though we have had losses, even though we have had terrible situations occur that we did not think we would get over. We are so grateful that you have helped us through that process, and you have gotten us through those things, dear Lord. Please continue to bless everybody on this planet. The world is shifting. There's a lot going on, dear Jesus. There are a lot of people who are going through hell, but please, Lord God, give them the strength to keep going. Thank you for giving me the strength to take my case all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, Lord God. Please touch the hearts and the minds of all 9 of those justices, dear Lord. And not only let me get 4, but let me get a unanimous decision that my case deserves to be heard. Anybody who's dealing with sickness or illness, Jesus, I know it's after 11/11, but I'm keeping my prayer going. Anybody who's dealing with illness, sickness, poverty, stress, depression, dear Lord, cover them, protect them, and heal them in your mighty name. Amen. All right, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I'm not sorry, but you know. So yeah, I think it's really, hey, J Rock, I see you. Hey, Victoria, I see you. I love when I see my people popping through here. My regulars. I got my regulars. Do I have some regulars on TikTok? Let me hear you if you're a regular on TikTok. Is you a regular? Thank you for giving me a badge. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all so kind. Thank you. And please give me plenty of hearts. I'm going to sing y'all some songs too. It is so awful. Okay. Just a little nosy says, it is so awful when you tell someone you are being abused or suffering and they protect the abuser by remaining silent. Yep. And what's really crazy, let me tell y'all what's really, really crazy. When we, you don't receive the notifications when I go live on YouTube. That's really interesting. I'll find out, you guys. I don't know why, but I will find out. I'm new to all of this. But to get into Just a Little Nosy's post, where she says it's so awful when you tell someone that you're being abused or suffering and they protect the abuser by remaining silent. Yes, it is. It is a terrible, foul ass situation when abusers are protected and people speak out. And, you know, all my life, I have been around people who have been victims of SA. And it's interesting because I tell this story often as well. I have 2 films, the Broken Things documentary, which is coming. And we're going to start showing it right here on WIRF.TV YouTube channel. It will be only available for members initially. And we're also working on getting that Patreon machine going, you guys, because, yeah, I've been doing my part by showing up on Nights with NICCI every night, honey. And I need so desperately for you guys to do your part by hitting like, share, subscribe. If you're watching me from other platforms like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or any of the others, after the broadcast, if you would please kindly do me the favor and follow the WIRF.TV YouTube channel, that would be awesome. But I'm out here putting in the work, you guys, even burnout, tired, exhausted. Y'all, I slept so hard this morning. My husband was like, you good? I'm like, oh my God, my body needed it. I think I told y'all last night I actually missed a night of sleep because I literally missed a whole 24 hours of sleep. What the hell? But I still show up for my people, so I need y'all to show up for me. And remember that the Sara Stokes documentary will be available, but it will be available for members only initially and on our Patreon page because, yeah, the content that we invest in a lot of time and energy and dollars, we got to make sure that we figure out a way to be a sustainable platform. So please consider becoming a member of WIRF.TV because October is the month where we're going to release. And also we're going to release season 2 and season 3 of From the Bottom Up, which is the show that, you know, for all intents and purposes, helped catch the predator. I will never forget sitting in the courtroom and I was flying back and forth because we found out after the season wrapped. And it's really interesting because, you know, shout out to BET for giving us the opportunity to do this series, but BET wanted nothing to do with following the story of her father being arrested for several counts of child SA, right? And I understand why. Thank you guys so much. I totally understand why, because it's more than a notion. You know, there are litigations sometimes, you know, involved with people or whatever. But what's really crazy is when we found out about it, and I'll never forget, if you guys saw, you can watch season 1 of From the Bottom Up now. And in season 1 of From the Bottom Up, you will see Sarah's husband, Tony, her ex-husband, I'm sorry. She's now married to somebody else, but you'll see her ex-husband, Tony, how he's talking about you, foul child, like he goes off on Sarah's dad. We did not know all of this was happening, and he pulled me to the side and he was like, Nikki, you know, why is he here picking her up from jail? Because he was outside the jail. in season 1 of From the Bottom Up, we actually captured Sara being released from Port Huron jail because of a situation that she had with her ex-husband Tony. And of course, we talked to Sara ahead of time. She had been communicating with me, like, hey, Nikki, I'm about to be getting out. I'm scheduled to get out on this day. And I was like, hey, we want to catch this thing as raw and real and authentic as possible. Are you good with us showing up? She was like, absolutely. I want to tell my truth. I want to share my story. I want young women to learn from me. I want them to learn that this is not it. So she actually, gave us the okay. We showed up, and Sarah's ex-husband, he was her husband at the time, who spoke out and said, hey, listen, her father has done X, Y, and Z to her. Her father is the reason why she has these issues. Her father is the reason why Sara has suffered with alcoholism and this and that. And people are so quick to judge. People are so quick to say dumb shit about people. People are so quick to laugh at people. People are so quick to be mean girls to people, like Mom Life over here on TikTok. People are so quick to just talk a bunch of shit when they don't know what people have been through, when they don't know what loads people have had to carry, right? And people assume that they know based on a headline or based on, I know Mom in Life and Monetized. So are you. So are you. You're mean and you're nasty and you're a nasty, disrespectful, dirty, rotten scoundrel, right? It sounds ridiculous for me to say that about you, right? And I'm gonna tell you why it sounds ridiculous, because she keeps spamming me. You're a mean girl. You're a mean girl. I'm not gonna block you because I want you to watch this live. You might actually learn something from this live that could add some value to your life. Something way more than being a Twitter troll or ex troll. But Mom Life and Monetize, I'm gonna say this: you're a horrible person. You're disrespectful. You don't take care of your kids. Your husband don't love you. It's ridiculous for me to say that, right? Same as it's ridiculous for you to say the things that you say about me. I don't know you and you don't know me, sis. So what you say when you don't know somebody and you weren't there and you didn't actually have the experience and all you saw was a bunch of sound bites and whatnot, right? You're making assumptions about people and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And that's what we do as a community so often. We make assumptions about people and we have no idea what we're talking about because we have been fed a narrative, right? So you don't know me. So take some time to get to know me. Hang out on the live. Go back and watch a few of the others. I'm not even going to block you, sis. I just want you to understand that you're wrong about me. The same way that all those things I said about you, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about you too. But that is what we do in our community. We go out and you're a mean girl. You're terrible. You're evil. You're bad. You're the worst of the worst. You the devil. You the this and that and the third. And we don't even know the people we be talking about. You understand what I'm saying? But let me get back to just a little nosy's question. When victims of SA, right? And it's terrible because we usually don't pay attention to victims until it becomes, connected to somebody extremely high profile. You understand what I'm saying? When it becomes connected to a person, apology accepted. I'm sorry for saying the things I didn't know about you too, Mom, sis. But it's difficult. I mean, it isn't an issue in our community until it involves somebody like a R. Kelly or a Bill Cosby or a Diddy or a Tyler Perry or whatever. And that just pisses me the fuck off, right? And the reason why it pisses me off is that why do you have to be a non-black person who is yelling out that you're a victim, or a victim who is accusing someone who is a black person that is extremely popular and extremely successful? Why is that necessary? Why is it that when women and girls and young boys as well, because this happens to young boys too, why is it that we can't believe them on the first go round? And the reason it's so dangerous is because y'all gonna have to get a little bit of this fan. I told y'all I'm hot as hell with my 55-year-old ass. Please forgive me. Woo, Lord God and Lord God. Ooh. Thank you so much. So when you have situations where only people who are high profile getting accused of stuff get media attention, or people who are non-black get media attention, you disregard all these victims that didn't want to come out in the first place. All of these people who for years and years have feared telling the truth about what's been happening to them because they're afraid that people won't believe them, because they're afraid that people will do exactly what these people do on social media. You know, Kelly was right about one thing. Oof, golly, I'm hot. She was right about one thing. The internet and the things that people say to you and about you on these here internet streets, the things that people would never say to you to your face, the things that people would never say to you, the things that people are confident enough to type behind a keyboard, it's dangerous when people do that because you never know what capacity people have to deal with that kind of ridicule. You never know what kind of capacity. I thank God that I'm a Detroit ass bitch. I'm an old Detroit ass. I had cousins who talked shit about me. I had, family members who would tell you if you walked in and gained 10 pounds, ooh, look at you. It was just easier for me to deal with the criticism just based on how I was raised. But there are a lot of people out here that don't know how to deal with that criticism. There are a lot of people out here that cannot handle whether it's the truth or a lie. People can't handle mean girl shit or mean boy shit. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to be talked about that way, especially by people who have no idea who the fuck you are, right? It's so many people, these little trolls and bots and friends. It's so funny. I was looking at a post and I'm getting right at people, right? I'm not doing the Kelly and generalizing, right? Because I know that more people know where I'm coming from. More people respect what I'm doing. More people respect the fight that I'm in. More people respect the fact that I'm amplifying voices of women who have been SA'd and women who have suffered DV and women who have been in prison. I mean, for God's sake, I have a whole series about women who were at the top of their games, hit rock bottom and had to rebuild. Many of them served time in prison. Many of them made decisions as young girls dealing with dope boys, young girls dealing with bad boys, right? I've always been the person who is rooted for the underdog. I have always been the person who is, no matter what people say, it's so easy for me to just get cute. Why my fan don't be turning off? There it goes. It's so easy for me to just get cute and go out here in these streets looking fabulous and not, go against the grain by talking about subject matter and being honest about things that happen in this industry. It would be so easy for me to acquiesce to the bullshit. It would be so easy for me to lean into trying to appease people who have no idea who the hell I am, but got an opinion about me like they've been knowing me since kindergarten. I just thank God that I don't give a fuck about someone who doesn't care about me or know me's opinion. But I will use every opportunity that I can and that I have for somebody who is bold enough to say, I don't like you, you're mean, or I don't like you because of whatever. I will use every opportunity I have to give them the floor and explain and break that shit down. And if once I've explained it and broken it down and said what I had, somebody said, keep the fan on, it's okay. I feel a little better now. Once I have explained it, then it is what it is. Some people just are determined to not get it. But I think it's really dangerous when we only allow people who are accusing high-profile people to tell their stories. I think that's important. Don't get me wrong now. I don't want to get this confused. I'm not saying that people who have been victims of high-profile, alleged pedos and whatnot, right? I'm not saying that those people should not continue to speak up. And that is very powerful because the bigger they are, the harder they fall, the louder the noise, right? And more attention is gained for victims. But what I hate to see is when the industry monetizes people's trauma and their pain and everything that's happened to them, and a network or a news company or whatever makes a shitload of money, and the victims who have come together to share their stories end up having to pick up the pieces with no help and no guidance. And shame on people who do that. I think is really terrible. And I hope that as we start to hear more about the Epstein survivors and as we start to hear more about, I don't know what's going on with this Tyler Perry thing, which is why I said I don't want to go too deep into that because, that's a lot. Man, that's a lot. And let me tell y'all this. Prepare yourselves. Whether it is the Epstein survivors and what's going on with DT, the highest, most powerful person in the country, Whether it is what happened with Diddy or what is allegedly happening with Tyler, these people have money, and these people have die-hard, loyal supporters who, no matter what is said about them, no matter what comes out, no matter how egregious the shit is, no matter how foul it is, they gonna have their back. They're gonna believe that they have done nothing wrong. I can tell you right now, I really question and wonder. The only thing I think makes this situation with Tyler a little different is, again, ABC News is legacy media, so typically they vet things before they. This ain't a YouTuber, right? This is a real actual legacy media company that is interviewing a non-black person about SA. And, that in and of itself is going to probably get a little bit more attention than it would be if it was just a young black girl or a young black actress or whatever. I'm sorry to say, but that's just the reality of it is. It takes a ton of accusers, like in the case of R. Kelly, for people to care enough if it is a black person. One is not enough. In this situation with Tyler, I have a feeling that one will be enough to do one of two things. To either open this thing up further and see where it really lands, or to make this thing go away quickly, quietly, and without any incident. Right? And either way, does it help victims feel any more secure about telling their stories and being honest? I don't think so. I think what it does is it confirms that unless you have a major corporation behind you, unless you have major dollars, and for some reason, don't get me wrong, I don't know. I think that this guy might have, has he hired a PR team? Did the PR team put him on ABC News? Listen, I'm not going to hold you up. The person that he's talking to is a really influential, powerful individual. And matter of fact, what the hell? Let's listen real quick. You guys have probably already seen it. Let's listen. I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but we done got all froggish, so I'm going to just leap on into it because I feel like I'm talking in code, and I don't like that either. Hold on. First of all, hold on. Let me read this real quick. This is the Jasmine Brand reporting. The actor who appeared on Tyler Perry's TV series The Oval has publicly detailed his sexual assault and harassment allegations against Perry in an interview with ABC News. Dixon recounts that in the incident in January 2020, he claims Perry invited him to his Atlanta home. After consuming alcohol, Dixon says he fell asleep in a guest room only to wake up to Perry climbing into bed with him and allegedly rubbing his leg. Dixon asserts that he rejected Perry's advances and left the situation feeling his bodily autonomy was violated. As reported, he filed a lawsuit against Perry and Perry Studios in June, accusing them of quid pro quo and workplace sexual harassment, as well as sexual assault and battery. He is seeking I don't know where that 20 shit came from. He is seeking $260 million in damages. Perry's representatives have dismissed the lawsuit as a scam. Okay, y'all, this is him on the news.
That first alleged incident.
I got into bed and then I noticed that he hung in bed with me as well and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up out of bed. Unless someone's been through something where they have their control over their bodies taken away, you don't really understand the kind of feelings that you get in that moment.
Can you explain that first alleged incident?
I got into bed and
okay. So the whole interview is going to air today, so we're going to talk more about it tomorrow. But just to give you guys an idea of some of the comments, and this goes to, who was it? Just Lil Nosy actually asked this question. This goes to, this is crazy. This speaks to what I was just talking about earlier. So the comments are, we aren't listening to this. Leave Tyler alone. You aren't getting a payday. he wanted to remind us since we didn't care. Now, when y'all do a roast, do y'all use a roasting bag or a crock pot? What y'all cooking tonight? I stopped believing you when you wanted money. What show is he on? I never watched The Oval. You know, it's just all the memes are basically like, you're a liar. We don't believe you. Someone says, why do we not believe this guy? These comments are confusing. Yeah, I think it's just a whole lot of people who don't believe him. It's a whole lot of people who are saying that this man, you know, is not telling the truth. And I'm not going to make a decision based on hearsay or innuendo, but I'm also not going to say that someone who is claiming to be a victim is a liar. You know, I mean, how do you do that? How are you a producer of a documentary film about SA? Not just that. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't share this with y'all, but the other short film we did called Social Conflict, which is also available. Please hit the like button as you guys come in. Please and thank you very much. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's how we know. And please give me lots and lots of hearts. But the movie that we did, Social Conflict, which is, we filmed it at my alma mater, my former high school. It is based on a true story. There's a bunch of different layers, a bunch of different, you know, subplots in this thing, but it was based on a true story. Our music teacher at our high school, Cody High School, molested young boys in the choir for years. He was the nicest human being that you've ever met. He put on the face. And this is what I mean when people are, you a bitch, you terrible, you the worst, you evil, whatever. Lord, this world will have you hating the people trying to help you and helping the people trying to hurt you. I swear. It's crazy to me how just because a person has convinced themselves that someone is a saint, right? And this isn't just about the Tyler Perry situation, because again, I'm going to be objective because I know what it's like to have someone who everybody loves and everybody respects and everybody's like, oh, they could never, right? I know what it's like for people to suffer at the hands of someone that everybody loves and everybody thinks is great and everybody thinks is amazing. And they really are horrible, terrible, god-awful human beings, right? And people are so afraid of telling the truth about those terrible, god-awful, horrible motherfuckers, because they know that they're going to get attacked by people who are blindly following and deifying people who have done terrible shit to motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. I cuss. It's late at night. Please put your earmuffs on. Saints, please forgive me. God still said I'm going to heaven because I got a good heart, even though I cuss. But it's just really terrible because this music teacher, a couple of my very close friends were victims, childhood victims at 13 and 14 and 15 fucking years old of a person that nobody thought was capable of doing stuff like this. And the way that this man, although he is of the Caucasian persuasion, and of course everybody's going to call him a disgruntled actor, and of course but the way that he describes what happened to him is the same way that some of my closest friends, one of my best friends in particular, describes what happened to him. So let me tell you what this teacher would do. Right? This is crazy to me. And hopefully this will give you guys, I didn't want to go too deep because I didn't watch the whole interview, but we on this conversation and there may be somebody on this live that needs to hear this, right? But the reason I say don't put it past anybody, you guys, and the reason I say don't, as hard as it may be for us to see a non-black person trying to take down one of the greatest moguls that ever lived, because Tyler is clearly one of the greatest to ever do it, right? In terms of what he's accomplished right now, I've been very clear that, you know, there are a lot of other stories out here, ways that we could tell story. Every story doesn't have to be told the Tyler Perry way. That's his way. There's a lot of ways out here to tell stories, and I don't necessarily always agree with the way the story is told. But this is back to my real life childhood experience with something similar to what this guy is explaining. So in choir, we had this thing called the Choraliers at Cody High School. The person who did it, his name is Tillis. Is this thing on? Tillis Butler. Tillis Butler. Can I say it one more time? He's in the ground where he belongs now, but his name is Tillis Butler. And what's really crazy about me saying that out loud that way, right, is because, number one, I don't care about, I wish somebody from his family would try to sue, because then we could just pull all the skeletons up out the closet, and it would be a terrible, embarrassing situation for everybody, because all those boys that he did that to are not lying, right? But what he would do is we would have these competitions, you guys inquire, and our parents, because we would take the bus either downtown or travel to a new city or whatever, we would leave like super duper early in the morning. And this is in the 80s, right? So most of our parents, I believe, knew that Mr. Butler, or felt, even though we didn't know what his sexual orientation was, I don't want to, put a tag on him as gay or straight or whatever, but he just came off as somebody who wasn't trying to sleep with the girls or hurt the girls or whatever. We thought he was what you would call gay. He was very, creative, we would say, right? So he would always say to our parents, there would be maybe 15, maybe 10 of us in chorus, 10 to 12 of us in chorus. So he would say, I'm going to have all the girls sleep upstairs and I'm going to have all the boys sleep downstairs. So what you're thinking is, this is your music teacher. This is your harmless music teacher who's the choir director. This is the person who loves all of us, who, encouraged us to pursue our gifts and develop our talents and our skills. And our parents, he lived in a nice neighborhood in the suburbs. So we would all get dropped off, and it was like, hanging out with friends. We're in high school, nothing crazy going on. And he assured us the boys will be in the basement and the girls will be upstairs. The reason the boys were in the basement is so that he could bless them, and so that he could essay them, and so he could rub their legs while they were sleeping, or crawl into bed with them while they were sleeping. I am not saying that what this man is saying about what TP did is true. I'm not saying that. And if it is not true, then he should sue them for every dime that they got. He should countersue like a motherfucker. If this is just a paper chase, you better countersue him to shut him down so he's not on NBC Live and ABC and all of these places trying to take your $260 million. If this fool is lying, you got all the money in the world to make sure that you shut him down, because that's a terrible thing to accuse somebody of. So he should get shut down, right? Handle that. Countersue him. Give him a gag order like the two black women got a gag order for the Karen who took their shit. Give him a gag order like Fawn Weaver got a gag order for Uncle Nearest. Exercise your money and your power and your might to shut them up with a judicial gag order legally, the right way, because this guy's out here telling lies and running game that ain't got shit to do with you. But I'm going to tell you why I take it seriously, right? The reason I take it seriously is because what this person is describing. We went to this person's house. I assumed that this was a safe environment. I've been to Tyler's house. It is not unusual for cast members and people who work with Tyler or been around Tyler to come to his house. We were there for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? He just has people occasionally at his house. He had a party at the, big house he had, and been twice, I think, maybe. Twice I've been to Tyler's house. And it's inviting and it's warm. And we eat and drink and we are married. So showing up and being at his house is not an unusual thing. And anybody who's worked with him will probably say that. Said we've all been to his house. And I haven't been to his new house. This was when I was working with him on Meet the Browns, right? But it was something usually that would happen with cast members and castmates. So that's not so unusual or so unbelievable. And the other thing is, because I understand, because I know people who have described this very same kind of situation, not with Tyler, but with other predators, that, those types of situations happen as well. So I would be betraying myself and everything I know and everything I've learned and everything I've experienced and everything I've been taught in this journey of helping defend people like my mother who have been victims of SA, right? I would really be lying to myself and lying to y'all if I didn't say anytime. Because if R. Kelly is sitting in jail because of it, if Bill Cosby sat in jail because of it, if Diddy is sitting in jail because of it, it happens. I'm not saying it happened with him. I'm not saying that. Anybody who says that I said it is a liar. Anybody who assumes that that's what I'm insinuating is also assuming too much. But shouldn't we put anybody who has been accused at that level to the test of whether or not it is the truth? And again, I forgot about it when he spoke about it before, because I was like, oh, this story is going to be dead. This ain't not, ain't nothing to follow here. But for ABC News, which is a company that vets story, which is a company that is not going to run the risk, in my opinion, of being sued by somebody as big as Tyler Perry by allowing a frivolous allegation, right, to just be advertised and displayed on their network for all the world to take more seriously. Tyler should shut that down. Because it's on ABC News now. Countersue if this is a lie. Countersue if this is untrue. And that way we will all know that Mr. Dixon is full of sugar honey iced tea. Otherwise, we have to watch this play out objectively. J-Rock says Derek Dixon is mad at Tyler because he got fired from the Oval after being on there for 6 seasons. The alleged incident happened in 2022. Why is he speaking out in 2025? And the messages are from 2022. J-Rock, I love you, but guess what? Sara Stokes' first incidents happened when she was 4 years old as a child, and then later happened when you are the victim of something like that. First thing you're going to say is it worth me getting dragged through the social media streets and all over the world by accusing somebody who, it's really interesting to me. Like, I know that the $260 million seems like super excessive. And I think that that's probably the thing that has people going, oh, really? You know what I'm saying? I think that 260 is what got people really scratching their heads, right? 21, I'm sorry. Awesome Mom says it's possible, not specifically, but in general. Sounds a little off, but a rub and a pat is worth $200 million. I don't know. We don't know. We weren't there. But what I'm saying is that the quickest way to nip this in the bud, especially when you have an army of attorneys and probably the best litigators in the country, the quickest way to nip it in the bud is a cease and desist order or a gag order of some kind. Especially, again, you guys, this person is talking about it on ABC News. ABC News is legacy media. ABC News is going to vet the stories before they put them up. And a lot of times people, cuss on NICCI. The kids should be in bed. They should be in bed, J-Rock. They better be in bed. People have lied about being molested and R-worded. That's the truth. And it makes it super hard for people to believe victims. It does. Is this the same person from months ago? Lauren Bates. Hey, Soror. Yes, this is the same person from months ago that we talked about on the show who's now on ABC News. So again, I'm not saying that, there is a such thing as fake news, right? There is a such thing as news that is not true just because people won't clickbait, right? But there's also, people waiting because of the fact that most people are going to feel like a lot of people feel. I mean, think about it. Like, think of all the people, just like in the Diddy situation, how we were saying, oh my God, think about all the people who are now going to be like, oh, you were friends with him and blah, 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 blah. If it's frivolous, he needs to stop it. If it's a frivolous litigation, I mean, look at how quickly I got stopped and mine wasn't frivolous. That's all I'm saying. I know that the legal system can shut you the fuck up. You understand? Excuse me, no disrespect, but really, like, I had a whole deposition from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock a.m. A whole deposition, baby, where people were questioned and sworn things under oath. And the money and the power was able to shut that deposition down and have it redacted so you could never see. Look at the Epstein people. They was able to shut it down so you can never see the names and the players and all of this other stuff. So billionaire boys have power, right? So, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why a person could just frivolously say. And it's just really interesting to me because when I think about the things that we actually go wild over, the things that we actually amplify, whether it's Young Thug, having his personal, I saw, just sidebar, this ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about with Tyler, but I have to share this because it was so spot on. I saw a meme, and the meme basically said, if all of us, y'all, me, them, they, we, had our phone calls with like our girlfriends and our tribe released. We have a lot of family members, used to be friends, business acquaintances, colleagues. If the shit that me and my husband be talking about, just our things that really is not for public consumption, right? We all do it. And if you're a saint and you've never like laid into somebody and been like, did you see what this dumb bitch, that. You know what I'm saying? If you've never had that moment with somebody that you trust or somebody that you feel like you can vent with, then, God bless you. Hallelujah. You are a saint. And, wishing you the very, very, very best, right? But all of us have done stuff like that. So it was interesting to see this meme where they're like, wow, they just basically took this man's, jail calls, his private, well, nothing is private in jail, I guess, but what he thought were private calls that would not get released, and released them. And now he's out here defending them. But that is more important, and a more important story than a black woman going to the Supreme Court of the United States of America to fight for creative rights. It's crazy. When I think I'm actually going to the Supreme Court of the United States of America as a pro se litigant, taking on a Goliath, and trivial bullshit that doesn't get us anywhere takes precedent and priority in these social media streets over things that would actually help positively impact our community and help build generational wealth and wellness in our community. So I know the power of the media to sway public opinion, and I know the power of people to be able to just accuse somebody of something. Like if they just accusing him, if this Derek Dixon guy is just accusing Tyler Perry of doing something, having this, exchange, we'll call it, with Mr. Dixon, and ABC News is just allowing him to get on there and basically bash him, defame him. Has ABC News done their due diligence? Or have they done their due diligence? And that's the reason why he's on there. Because if all you got to do is come up with a claim, then damn, who do I need to call about the one I got in the Supreme Court of the United States of America? If ABC just gonna just take random ass claims with no validation and no real facts, can a sister with a case in the Supreme Court of the United States, or even if it's not about me and my case, can someone like Sara Stokes, who's advocating for victims because she was essayed by her own father, can she get some motion? Hey, Pam Esquire. Okay, Pam says Tyler is probably going to file a motion to dismiss the case in his first response. It's credibility issue, though that probably won't get dismissed. Now, this is one of the smartest people on the internet. If you guys are not following Pam Esquire, the law intellect. So, Pam, question. If it doesn't get dismissed, and I know you obviously have to see the specifics and you don't just ramble off like I do without having some facts and seeing what's on Pacer, which is Pacer, for you guys who don't know, is where actual claims and paperwork is filed. But if it doesn't get dismissed, is that a sign that Tyler should maybe take this more seriously and that this thing might have some legs, or that he should start negotiating if it doesn't get dismissed? Just a little nosy says it's not about what you can prove, it's about what people believe. Even if it never happened, Tyler don't want that on his name. He better countersue if it's a lie. Jay-Z is countersuing for $20 million. That's what I'm saying. He better get his Jay-Z on and countersue. But why did this guy go over to Tyler Perry's house more than once? You must have just came on here because I said I've been to Tyler Perry's house more than once. So most people who are on Tyler Perry's shows and most people who have worked with Tyler in some capacity, not most, but a few people that I know personally, and my whole cast We all went, and you have food and drinks and celebrate. So being at Tyler Perry's house is not so unusual, because that's something that for as long as I've known him, we've been able to do that. Pam says that isn't anything that ABC News can really confirm. That's his story, and they're just allowing him to tell it. I agree, right? I thought about that as well, but isn't it risky for legacy media, especially one as big as ABC News, to allow someone? I mean, so if that's the case, this is where I'm confused. Pam, maybe you can help me understand this. So are we saying, what is the reason why this particular person, this out of work actor from the Oval, was able to get on ABC News with an anchor who interviews presidents and vice presidents of the United States of America? That's the thing. I'm not going to put her name out there because I don't want her name to be out there. Y'all will see it and, whatever. But this woman, this sister, has interviewed heads of state. She is known. Matter of fact, I think she hosted the debate. Why would she sit down with him and do a one-on-one if it's not vetted? Is it just, or is this like, because if, because if I'm being real serious about it, it's feeling kind of Gayle King, R. Kelly-ish to me. Do these big companies know how dangerous it is to give someone a platform to spew that kind of stuff? I don't know. I'm just asking. Derek Dixon is a white man. That is why ABC News is interviewing him. Don't be blind. We know ABC News put the camera in his face. When you are a white, you can get anything. Okay, that is okay. Okay, J-Rock. Derek Dixon is able to get on ABC News because of his complexion. What y'all saying over here on TikTok? Ratings. Some company. Okay, let's see. Follow live creator. It's the difference between Tyler Perry's house and his bed. Right, Lady Vonnie. Negotiate, because there may be something to it. Yeah, you're right. We were in the house, definitely not in his bed. Pam says many outlets probably reached out to him for his type of allegation. Tyler just got served the lawsuit 2 weeks ago. Okay, so I guess outlets were just looking out, reaching out to him for their story, for his story, or potentially outlets were reaching out to him for the story. That's that could be a thing. I am Veli 97 says they want to take down our grace. Now, I couldn't agree with you more. Two things can be true, though. Two things can be true. Yes, and this feels like another. Deveron Patterson says, yep, and it feels like another takedown of a wealthy, successful black man. Wow. Let's see what you're saying. Just a little nosy. Honestly, with legacy media nowadays, it's possible that they're trying to keep people watching because their views are tanking. Just a thought. That can be true as well. Legacy media's views are down, so they trying to turn into Tasha K and what's her name? Tisa Tells. But see, if they was really trying to be good legacy news, then they would be trying to be like my girl Pam Esquire, the law intellect, because she breaks down the case. You guys, I'm sure, Pam, are you going to be breaking this case down? Have you broken it down already? Or are you breaking it down? Because we all need to tune in to Pam breaking this down. The news outlets get sued all the time. I had a case where my client got on the news and they sued hers and the news. We won though. Boom. There it is. So it could be. It looks like a lot of people are saying that they feel like Derek is full of sugar honey iced tea. And now I don't agree that, I think the reporter got paid, but I don't think that this was a payola situation. She is not, again, the reason why I'm scratching my head a little bit and the reason why I'm looking like, this might be something is because of the person who actually interviewed him. And she's a legitimate journalist. So to have something like this attached to her name, if it's a farce and if it's a paper chase, That's the thing that has me questioning. But weren't there 3 black men who made claims against Tyler Perry before this 4th guy showed up? I'm not sure if there were 3 black men, and I know that the universe and the whole world wants Christian Keys to be one of those black men in that group of people who accuse Tyler Perry of something. But if we're totally honest, Christian never said Tyler Perry did anything to him. He never said that. I know Christian, and I know some of the other people, and I'm just gonna put it there. I'm just gonna say that he never said that Tyler did it. He's gonna get some money. So he may never work again. Yeah. YouTube is a new media source. That's why YouTubers were asked to go on these legacy media stations during the Diddy trial. 100%, Pam. 100%. Hold on one second. All right, you guys. Hold on. I'm going to go on ahead and put her name out here, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background. Again, if this was just a random person, hold on. If this was just a random person, then I might be like, oh, okay, this is just a random person. But it's not. Hold on. Why can't I get her LinkedIn? Her Wikipedia. Okay. So Lindsay Davis, right, is an American broadcast journalist at ABC News who currently anchors Sunday's World News Tonight, prime time, ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. Her career highlights. Trying to find. What I will say is that she's the real deal. The sister is the real deal. And she has kind of interviewed some of everybody. Like I said, including hosting the debate and other things. Now, I'm not saying that people have not made mistakes, but this is the equivalent. Like, do y'all think that, well, Gayle King would never do it because Gayle King is friends with Tyler, right? So she probably would squash that in a heartbeat. Like, no, please. But do you think that Gayle King would just randomly interview people who was just making false accusations about folks? I'm just trying to be neutral and respectful here as a person who often supports, survivors. ABC News interviewing Derek Dixon, but not interviewing you about your case with Katori Hall, Lionsgate, Tyler Perry worked with Lionsgate. Yeah, that's fishy again, Derek. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting to see that this whole thing is out here, and it's out here with someone who is a reputable interviewer. Off topic, hold up, is that 1111 necklace? It sure is an 1111 necklace. It is by, my sister gave this to me, Alexis, Life Size Boutiques. Sure is. If you know, you know. 1111, baby. What is your take on the Gayle and R. Kelly? I don't really understand the comparison. Well, the comparison just being right before the shit really hit the fan with R. Kelly, the news article with Gayle King came out, or the news interview with Gayle King came out. And typically, in order for someone, this isn't just some random, right? This isn't TMZ. This is a reputable, I know I keep saying reputable as if they're incapable of making mistakes. They do make mistakes, but they have a whole lot more money and a whole lot more resources to vet things. You understand? To make sure that they don't have these kinds of liabilities. And it's a seriously high profile liability. Don Lemon was, has Don Lemon talked about it? Oh no, I think he was talking about the situation with, and let me say this, okay? This is another, just another something I want to throw in this pot of stew we're cooking up here, because this is all speculation. None of us really know. None of us really have enough information to come up with a, factual conclusion to any of this. But should we not believe the Epstein accusers either? Can I get some feedback on that? The Epstein accusers were on one of these ABC, NBC, one of these platforms. Should we not believe them either? Should we just assume that they're going after our president because they're on a money grab? I'm waiting. Why is it that we got all of this? I doubt if it really happened, they're just coming after Tyler for his money, for this white male accuser. But we don't have that same energy for the white female accusers who are victims of Epstein, who are accusing a lot of people of doing that. They didn't have pictures of Janice said they had pictures. They didn't have pictures of the president in an act of doing something egregious. The guy has text messages and probably pictures as well of him with Mr. Perry. I'm still waiting for somebody to explain to me why we should believe the people who accused Diddy, why we believed enough to go to trial the people who accused R. Kelly, why we believe the people who accused Bill Cosby, why we believe the Epstein accusers. But we absolutely, positively, under no circumstances, without a question, know for a fact that this man is lying about Tyler Perry. And anybody else who said it is lying about him. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know. Mark, what's your question? I wasn't there. I don't know. And I don't want to believe that this is true. Because what Tyler has done as a black man in this industry, what he has accomplished as a black man in this industry is unmatched. What he has been able to do, building this incredible legacy, is just amazing. So I don't want to believe that that's what it is. And I tend to err more on the side of maybe something probably transpired that wasn't egregious. It was what maybe people thought was consenting. Perhaps. Maybe it was consenting, but we don't know. We weren't there. And if we don't know and we weren't there, do we just not believe him until it's proven? Do we believe him or do we remain neutral? I want to stay in a neutral space. Mark says, why does it seem like we black people, why does it seem like we black people don't want to believe or accept that Tyler Perry, okay. So as far as his sexuality is concerned, that is none of our business unless he makes it our business. So whether he is straight or not, if he hasn't said that he is, his sexuality is not the issue here, in my opinion. Who he chooses to be with or whatever ain't none of our business. That ain't got nothing really to do with us. But if he has done something egregious to someone or multiple people, or there have been people who have been accusing him of doing certain things, yes, it is very possible that people are just going after wealthy, successful black men because they want to destroy our brothers and take them down. But isn't that the thing that everybody said we shouldn't do with Diddy? Isn't that the thing that everybody said we shouldn't do with Bill Cosby? Isn't that the thing that everybody said we shouldn't do with R. Kelly? We shouldn't even be listening to R. Kelly's music. I was so uncomfortable when the driver this weekend was playing R. Kelly. I didn't know what to do. Like, oh my gosh, should I tell him to turn that shit off? But I can't do that. Because there are still people who support R. Kelly and don't believe that they believe you can separate his music from his dirty deeds. Can we accept if we find out, just hypothetically speaking, if we find out that there is some validity to this, then what? I think people still ain't gonna care. I think it's not that he isn't believed. It's just that people don't think he has much of a case. That could be true. That could be true. People don't think he had much of a case. However, However, I will say this, because I've heard a few people making this reference, and this could be a possibility too. Keep in mind, you guys, we weren't there. We are just, giving our unsolicited, we just talking. We just family, friends, just exploring this shit because it's in the news. Like I have often had to say, I'm a new media company. I hate the idea of reporting news on friends and people that I know and care about. But we are a new media company. We have to discuss the hot topics that are in the media. So, yeah, that's really scary. But that's what they said about Bill Cosby. His contributions are unmatched. Yeah. J-Rock says that Cassie wanted the fame. She chose to stay for money, limelight. The parents sold their children R. Kelly for Kel's money. Trump is okay. All right, but okay, J-Rock, but if we found out that there was some validity, just if was a fifth, will people care? Will people care? Or will this man continue to make his millions, pay the $260 million or whatever they settle for, and life goes on? The blackballing is what sticks out to me. You don't play the game, you don't work again. Blackballing is kind of hard these days. Please hit like as you come in. Mark, okay, I'm glad I answered your question. Blackballing is kind of difficult these days because your audience is around you everywhere. Now, shadow banning, I think, is probably the new version of blackballing, right? People preventing you from being able to reach your audience and whatnot because the OODA, the owners of the algorithm, have the power to do that. But yeah. No, they will not care because his material is good. Lauren says his fan base won't care. I agree. I think some people some people, their fame goes beyond accountability, being held accountable for stuff. I think that there's so many people out here who are enamored by successful people and deify really successful people that I agree. I don't think that it will stop anything. I don't really think that let me say this. Let me take that back a little bit. Because these are white people, because the accusers are white people, the Epstein folks, and this guy is a white person, I think that it will go much farther than it would ever go if these people were black. I don't think they care about black women and girls and BIPOC, Latin American, black indigenous people of color who are victims. I don't think they care. I'm a fan, and if he's guilty, I'm done because of my own experiences. That's what Hantez says. Yeah. If he's guilty, I'm done too, for sure. If he's guilty, I'm done. And I have faith in humanity. I think that there are people out here who, if they discovered that he did something terrible to these people, and again, these are grown men, so it's a little different, guys. It's a little different. These are grown men, not young women, which is very different. The Epstein situation is young women. Sarah's father it was young kids and young women, so it's very, very different. But that quid pro quo thing is real. And when you got that kind of money, you got to be real careful. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, people in this industry are so afraid to speak out against powerful, wealthy folks. You know, everybody think they're going to get a job. Everybody think they're going to get put on the next show. Everybody think that Tyler going to have a bag for them. You know what I'm saying? And he might have a bag for some people, but for the most part, I don't think too much is going to change about his career trajectory if people find out that he's doing what, this man is saying. It's kind of a shame, but anyway. Just a little nosy says, I think it's a difference between the two. Epstein network, right? There's only one, but wrong one. Yep. People are more sensitive to minors. I agree. People are indeed more sensitive to minors. Tyler may just want to go to court. This is TikTok. Tyler may just want to go to court and prove that he's lying and ruin his career. Yep. And this is what I will say. If he is lying to kick it, if he is lying because or let me say it the way we say it in Detroit, if he lying to kick it, and he's lying because he feels like there may be an opportunity for him to get a bag, then I think that Tyler should do everything he can to destroy this man's credibility in his career and everything else, right? If this is frivolous, I think not only should he go after him, he should go after anybody who platformed him. Just because that is really terrible in this day and age when so much terrible stuff is happening. I think that it is very terrible for somebody to do that. Lauren says, I don't think they care about black women and girls. That has been proven over and over again. There are plenty of us missing that we never hear about, but the non-people of color get documentaries on Netflix. There it is. They don't give a shit about it. All I want to say is that they don't give a damn about us. Didn't Michael tell y'all? Didn't Michael say it? They don't care. They do not care. And what's really crazy is that let me say this let me make sure I say this the right way. They don't care about us, and I think that we have become desensitized to each other. Yeah. It's the lights, y'all. Got a lot of lights in here so y'all can see my face. They don't care about us. I don't want to go so far as to say we don't care about each other. Because we do. But we need more unity. And we need to show how much we love and care about each other more often. That's a good point. They don't care. And if we have a story or harm, we will overlook it. And it's not okay. Yep. We have more respect for people who have money than we do for people who have integrity. And that's a serious issue in our community. Not necessarily blackballed from everywhere, but he was stopped from working in roles at TP Studios. This is no different from wrongful termination suit at a regular job, all because he did not continue to entertain him in a certain way. Yeah, if he did that, then I don't know, maybe there's EEOC or, whatever. But this industry, let me say this real quick. What time is it? 1:23. Let me say this real quick, you guys. This is from my own personal experience working in this business. And I know some people may be like, well, your experience is different because you were a bitch on R&B Divas, right? I get it. But for real. This industry is made up of a lot of really dirty motherfuckers. Y'all heard me on TikTok? This industry is made up of a lot of dirty motherfuckers. A lot of people who don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. A lot of people who are so ego-driven, so fame-driven, so validation-driven. It's the sickest thing ever. There is no loyalty. There is no get it out of the mud in this industry. There are people who choose to, like I do. But for the most part, success, real success, at the level that so many people we know, think about it. Do you think that nobody knew what Diddy was doing? Do we think that none of the people who gave him lots and lots of money all the time, gave him the power to give people record deals and the power to get people's publishing and the power to do all the shit that Diddy was able to do? Do you think that these people were unaware of these alleged things that he was doing? Man, please. This industry is run by people who all like the same shit. For the most part. Power. Money. By any means necessary. If it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, if it's taking advantage of people who are hungry, ambitious, and really want to be successful and will do just about anything to get there, the people that you see on top, please hit like, you guys. Please hit like. Please hit share. Please hit subscribe. The people that you see at the top of the food chain in the entertainment industry, folks didn't just get that based on talent alone, right? I mean, I think Tyler Perry is very talented. I think he's a very talented individual, but you're not going to convince me that he's the most talented individual on the face of the earth. You're not going to convince me that he's the only person out here who could tell a black woman's story or a black man's story. You're not going to convince me that his brand of storytelling is the best, greatest, most representative brand of storytelling that our community has ever seen. But somebody with power and somebody with the ability to position him to be viewed as that. Somebody who's probably aware of people's habits and in position to grow these individual brands is involved in every success story you see in Hollywood. You don't get, and be clear. I'm going to always be honest and real and advocate for creatives and underserved people and victims. Always. No matter who it pisses off. Just because, like I said, my mother and several other people I know were victims. So I don't have a choice but to advocate and amplify the voices of people who don't maybe have the platform or the audacity and the boldness to be able to say, hey, listen, this is what it is. And I hope that everybody who watches this and listens to this and hears my perspective on it understands that this is not about accusing anybody of any egregious behavior. I definitely want to follow this thing and see the whole interview and see where it lands. But I'm also not going to acquiesce and pretend like egregious, terrible behavior is okay just because I want an opportunity at the other end of this, the carrot on the other end of the string. I'm just not going to do that. And I think the reason why this industry is so fucked up and the reason why this industry has so much foul shit happening right now is because too many people have done that. Too many people have been afraid and scared into silence. And I think that as long as we continue to allow that to happen, we're never going to get anywhere, because if the people who have audiences and platforms and the ability to reach and share their stories with a whole lot of people, if we don't pursue the truth and share the truth, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much our voices shake, no matter how much we think to ourselves, oh, somebody gonna take this clip and run with this shit and turn this into NICCI said that the guy probably right about Tyler. That's not what I said. What I said was, we have to be careful about not believing certain accusers, but believing other accusers. Not believing that certain high-profile celebrities are capable of doing these kinds of things, but believing that other high-profile celebrities are capable of doing these types of things. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and none of us is perfect. So I don't put it past nobody, because my mother and Sara Stokes, her own father. Sara Stokes, it was her own father, for God's sakes. It was her own biological father. And several other people. It was their biological father or. So I'm not putting past nobody. Our music teacher, who we all trusted and never believed would do no shit like this. How is it that I position myself to not believe Derek or not believe Sarah or not believe Jane or not believe Jill? Because I like the person that they're accusing of doing some terrible shit to. Because I'm the kid who's in the choir, whose choir director molested all of her male friends. Or not all of them, but enough of them to destroy enough lives where these guys are still dealing with it well into their 50s. And this shit happened at 14 and 15 years old. So, hey. Ken Wayne Live says, stories like yours, Monique's, Taraji's are tremendously discouraging. Much love. Hopefully you're not discouraged. Oh, discouraging to get into the industry and move with integrity. You guys, listen, don't get discouraged. I know that sounds really crazy for me to say all this shit and then just be like, don't get discouraged. Be encouraged when you hear Monique speak. Be encouraged when you hear me share my story. Be encouraged when you hear Taraji tell her story, or anybody else in this industry who, when you hear them tell their stories, because we're not saying it because we want sympathy as much as we are saying it because we want people to be informed and educated and protected and have a realistic perspective of what this industry is. You guys, we get caught up in this business of thinking that just because, you get to wear fabulous clothes and you get to go perform on stage and, everybody says they love you even when they don't know you. You know what I'm saying? The one thing my dad has always told me, my mom has always told me, don't believe the hype, the good hype or the negative shit. Don't believe any of it if it's coming from people who don't know who you really are. People who see your filtered life don't know what your life is really like. And people who see your life in a moment of chaos or in a moment of adversity don't know who you are as a whole, complete person. And I think as a community, so often we buy into this idea that we think we know people, right? Like I said, I'm getting right at y'all asses. And by y'all, I don't mean y'all, but I mean y'all, them. I'm getting right at people's asses because the one thing that this Kelly Price thing taught me is that it's not all black women. It is not all black men. It is not all white women. It's the ones that say the dumb shit. And you have to just respond to their dumb asses. Even if it is, hey, stick around. You might learn something. And this morning, I woke up in my feelings because I'm missing my baby sister because we're about to do her walk. You guys click the link in my bio. Head for the Cure. We're walking for brain cancer next Sunday at Belle Isle. You guys make sure y'all join us if you can. But I was in my feelings today, y'all. Sidebar from this Tyler stuff. And earlier today, and I came on my TikTok because TikTok people, y'all, they just kind of getting to know me a little more because I ain't been on TikTok for as long as I've been on the other platforms, right? Y'all pretty much know who I am at this point, but TikTok is a little new. So, I got people, you mean, bitch, I'm talking about the Kelly thing. You ain't no different and you evil too and you ain't shit and I hope you get and I hope you lose your case and, oh, well, we don't care if your family don't, da-da-da-da-da. And I just went in and I just cussed they motherfucking asses out in about 3 or 4 sentences. Because I just felt the need to release some pressure and some tension and just lay into their ass. And well, why are you? Because I'm human and you said some shit. Not all black women, your black ass. Or whatever color you are. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't even know people black on these apps. But your smart mouth ass has something to say. So I said, instead of me being like Kelly and just generalizing and shit, I'm just going to get right at the dumbass who had to say it. And we got time. All you got to do is just sit on your phone. Now, I don't know. Maybe she had tens of thousands of comments and you can't respond to all of them. But I'm Sam Jackson in this motherfucker. I'm going to clap back at your motherfucking ass. I'm going to say exactly what, because look at you, boo. Look at you. Excuse me? Who are you? Are you nice? Are you a bitch? Are you, trifling? Period. Who is you? And I'm at you and I might screenshot your ass and post you on my page. Sometimes I rise above it and when they go low, I go high, and I just delete the message and don't let it ruin my day. But if I'm already having a bad day because I'm missing my sister, and ain't nothing I can do to get her back. And your dumb ass has no idea that I lost my sister to brain cancer a couple months ago. And you say some dumb shit. I'm going to lay in and I'm going to let it go in and let it have. I'm going to lay into your ass because I don't care. I don't care about you. You don't care about me. Let's just make it a big joke. I'm sure Kelly didn't mean all if you're smart enough to read between the lines. Listen, for those of you who say, I'm sure that Kelly did not mean them all. I think everybody who saw the post is clear that she didn't mean every single black woman on the face of the earth. The point of us saying don't say shit you don't mean and don't generalize is exactly that, because we're all pretty clear that you don't mean everyone, because I didn't say nothing about you and I'm in that group of women, and there are tons of other women on this here internet that didn't say shit about her that would fit into the category of black women. So if you say something that is a general statement that offends a complete group of people, then you should expect that that complete group of people is going to say something that might offend your ass. Like what you said was out of pocket. You shouldn't have said it. It's disrespectful and you should think twice about it. And why is it that it's okay for somebody who we are fans of to get the, well, she didn't mean everybody treatment, but when everybody's responding to the fact that she said everybody at a time when black women are under attack? Fuck what you heard. This DEI that people are so reckless with their mouths about, where 400,000 women have lost their jobs. Y'all, that's 500,000 black women. 500,000 black women have lost their sources of income, their ability to feed their babies, their ability to pay for childcare. And DEI has a lot to do with it. And over 300,000 white men have been hired in their places. Let me turn on my fan because I'm getting hot, irritated, and bothered with the dumb shit. How do you justify, right, someone who is lucky enough and blessed enough to benefit from the very women that you are blanketing, saying on God's green earth, some of the most on God's green earth? That shit was harsh. So when you really care about people, right? When you really give a fuck, you tell them that shit you said was out of pocket. It wasn't right. It was disrespectful. And these are the reasons why it was disrespectful. And it isn't a reason for them to be upset with you. If anything, it should be a reason for them to respect you because you say it to their faces or publicly, so that they understand, I'm not throwing rocks and hiding my hands over here. I said it. She did. Her, the big mouth with the black gums and the knock knees. She said it. Because we rely on these people for our livelihoods. And it is a lie when you say that I will always be able to go out and make money. I'm going to always be able to use my voice and my gift to make money. Because if 500,000 black women have lost their gigs due to DEI and other reasons, and you are basically insinuating that you can do it without their asses, that's a lie. You can't. Who else? White people ain't coming to your concerts and buying your tickets and singing She Was a Friend of Mine or If You Love Me or Heard It All Before. Our sisters, the ones that we insult, are the ones that are doing it. And I'm going to read this real quick to you guys. You don't have the same history as Kelly. She says a lot of our, yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, like, for people to be like, oh, I saw you on R&B Divas. Baby, listen. No, and I'm going to say this. I'm not going to get into no R&B Divas rant, but a lot of people might not have been around to hear this. So I'm going to say it for the people. Again, a lot of times TikTok, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but because we're new in this relationship, a lot of times it's more y'all that I got to explain this shit to, right? But here's the thing. On R&B Divas, even though I had probably the heaviest storyline on the show, and that's not being disrespectful or shady, it's just facts, right? You know what I'm saying? I was the creator of the series. I cast everybody in it. I was the creator of the show. I cast everybody in it. But you only got to see maybe an hour over the course of a whole season of me. I'm going to say it for y'all one more time because I'm really tired of my people making dumbass comments that just don't qualify or quantify, right? We got 43 minutes each episode. And there are 5 to 6 storylines that we're following on the show. So even if it was equally distributed, where each of us got 10 episodes for you guys to get an understanding of who NICCI was, who Kiki was, who Faith is, 10 minutes an episode for each of us. 5 people, that's 50 minutes. That's a 50-minute episode. You get 10 minutes of Selena, 10 minutes of NICCI, 10 minutes of Faith, 10 minutes of Monifa, 10 minutes of Kiki. You have seen over the course of 8 episodes, 40 to 50 minutes of a person. So each season you see an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and you have come to the conclusion that someone is a horrible, god-awful person who doesn't deserve the respect and the courtesy because she's a god-awful person. And I know because I saw a whole hour of her life over the course of 8 episodes. It's just dumb as hell. Please stop doing that to yourself. Because guess what? The other thing is the 50 minutes of the people on reality TV that you just can't stand so much because you just done seen them on the show and they just showed out is the most amplified, hyped up, interesting, compelling, prodded and pushed by producers moments of the season. It's editing, people. It's editing. I'm breaking up. My sound is going in and out. How's my sound going in and out now? Y'all see how these people do? Is the sound still going in and out? I guess that means it's time. Someone trying to, yeah, they playing. Hold on, guys. Test. Is it still breaking up, you guys, over here? Isn't that ironic? Yeah, okay. What do you do? We had an hour and 41 minutes. I'm going to watch your sound. My sound is fine on y'all's end. Excuse me. Someone is trying to end my live. Yeah. But on TikTok and on the other platforms, the sound is okay. Just Little Nosy says I'm fine now. Okay. All right, guys. What do we say? Same way everybody took a chance to trash Anita Baker for missing a show, not giving anybody grace. Exactly. And that was enough. Somebody said an hour was enough. Okay, listen. Baby, listen. If you are convinced that I'm not shit, you should not be paying attention to nothing I'm saying on this live. You should go and do some self-care. I told you I'm getting right at y'all. Go get yourself some self-care. It sounds fine. Okay. We all just witnessed this. That wasn't conspiracy. I know, right? Yeah, it's the whole thing. So you got to give them something to edit, though. Yeah, and so here's the thing. Don't compare me to Kelly Price, because me and Kelly Price are very different people. What we have in common is the fact that, I considered her a friend, and we were both in this industry, and we both had struggles with our weight. Yeah, I know my mic is going in and out, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's happening, but just I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute anyway. That whole you got to give them something to edit thing. The power of editing, producers, the manipulation is a real thing. And one day I'm gonna break it down in a example that you can see. Right? I'm gonna edit something together so you can see just how easy it is for that to happen. But what we saw on the show was gaslighting. We saw what we saw on the show. Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, no reality TV show ever made in the history of, tell the viewers to restart your app and come back in. It's fine. I don't know, guys. In your YouTube before your entire channel gets banned. Oh, really? Is that what they do? I hope my channel doesn't get banned for telling the truth. But that's the reason why we're trying to do Worth TV and have our own platform so we don't have to worry about that kind of shit. But real quick, let me say this. When will it be on streaming? I'd love to watch it with a new perspective. Please watch it with a new perspective, and it'll hopefully be on streaming very soon. So let me wrap this up real quick with a real quick and dirty summary. I'm going to stop talking for just 2 minutes to see if I can trick them into... I know y'all can hear me okay because this mic is fine, but it's the mic on YouTube that's acting up. I was told by a tech person, if you stop talking for a minute, sometimes it'll fix it. But let me give y'all some takeaways and then get out of here because this is about to be at the 2-hour mark. But I will definitely be back tomorrow. I have something really important and good to share with y'all tomorrow. But this Tyler Perry thing, the thing with the Epstein survivors, it is something that we should really watch closely, and not to be messy. But I think we should watch it closely because this should be a lesson in us assuming that because we have deified someone or felt like it's not possible for the president or for the Tylers or for these people to do something like this and people are just trying to take them down, we got to really think about how we allow that excuse to numb our perspectives as it relates to real victims. Because even though he seems like, this accuser seems like an able-bodied, white man, and even though the Epstein accusers are non-black women, SA is SA. And being someone who takes advantage of people and hurts people in that way, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much power you have. It doesn't matter how much influence you have. It fucks people's lives up forever. I know so many people, like I said, the reason I'm so passionate about it is because my mother, several people in my family, and a few of my very best friends have been victims. And I have watched them carry the weight of speaking up and people not believing them and being trashed because they were brave enough to speak up. And it fucks up their whole life. Well, not F's up. I'm sorry. Let me watch my language. I'm sorry, guys. It creates real challenges for them that some people never get over. And we can't just assume that because somebody is wealthy and we don't want to believe that they're capable of doing something so terrible that they didn't do it. And it's almost better to just be neutral in these situations and not have anything to say. Or if you do have something to say, make sure you show all sides of it and you're objective, because it's really dangerous when you start shutting people down when they're speaking up against stuff like this, because you make people who don't have the bravery and the resources or the support system. There are little girls and little boys and women right now at this very moment that we're on this YouTube channel talking, you guys, that are being essayed and beat up and abused and harmed by people, and they're afraid to speak up about it because people are going to laugh. They're all going to laugh at you, like the Carrie movie said, or they're all going to call you a liar, or they're all going to say you deserved it or you wanted it or whatever. And that feeling is terrible. Right. Hantez said PTSD that you never get over. Listen, I was raised by a mother who was a child SA victim. And it affected her whole life for her entire life. And it affected our lives as well. Sarah's kids, anybody else's children who are children of victims, it continues. It is a generational curse that does not end. So for people who have done this, no matter how much money, no matter how much power, no matter how much influence they have, we really have got to stop giving them a pass because we like them or because they're rich or because they're powerful. And we really have to stop shaming victims, because that is one of the most difficult hurdles for people to get over. And it only makes it more difficult when we don't believe them or we shame them for speaking up. So Broken Things documentary will be coming next month. We're going to keep watching this Tyler thing. We're going to talk about it a little bit tomorrow because I'm going to watch the full episode. But I just don't believe that ABC News would be that reckless. I think that as a legacy media company, they got to be smarter than that. And again, I'm going to say, as it relates to this whole thing with Tyler, if he is lying and if this guy is just making this story up, then Tyler should take him for everything that he has. Because my, oh my, this is a terrible accusation. But if he is not, then people better prepare themselves to deal with the cold hard reality that everybody is not perfect and everybody is capable of doing something that we would not expect them to do. All right. Y'all, thank y'all for hanging out with me on this fabulous episode of Nights with Nikki. I know we were kind of all over the place with a hyper focus on victims of SA. As a survivor, sometimes when the abuser is in our culture, a lot of people refuse to accept it. That's right, Raquel. That's why this is so dangerous. That's why this is so dangerous. And victims are victims. Victims are victims whether they are young, strapping, handsome white men or 13-year-old young girls, which 13-year-old young girls is far worse than a young, strapping, handsome man. Don't get it twisted. But what SA does to victims and how it negatively impacts their lives is real. And let's not participate in it by talking about shit we don't know for sure, especially when it comes to something as serious as this. All right, you guys. I appreciate y'all. The sad truth is that victims need to be heard. However, I am sorry to Tyler. I'm sorry to Tyler, but that should not be. I don't know what that means. That's sad truth, victims. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Hopefully you come back tomorrow and we can unpack your question. I will. What's your name? Awesome Mom. Awesome Mom. Can you rephrase your question real quick? Because I don't know. That's the sad truth. Victims need to be heard. However, I'm sorry to Tyler, but that should not be. I don't know what you're saying there, but ask me that question tomorrow. Let's talk about it tomorrow. You guys, thank y'all for joining me for Nights with Nikki. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. I hope this episode wasn't too heavy for you. And please don't let go out there saying that Nikki Gilbert said Tyler Perry did anything, because I don't know what happened, because why? I wasn't there. But I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it on Nights with Nikki. Have a good night, everyone. Love y'all. Come say good night, kiddo. Come on. Come on. Come on. Say good night to the people. Come on. Up here. Up. You coming up? You coming up to say good night? Look at him. Oh, you guys, he a killer. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. All right, you guys. Shout out to Tupac. All right, love y'all. Have a good night.